Welcome.
Yep, welcome. We're going to just hang out for a couple of minutes and let everybody log in. Because last time I started talking way too fast, so we'll give you all a couple of minutes here. I got Dawn with me today, so we're not alone. I don't know what that noise was. Technical difficulties. We're working on it. Here we go. Okay, that was magical. Dawn, I didn't know you could play like that.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't even see your hands move.
Okay.
Tests.
I think it's time to post the line. Yes?
Yes,
Test.
let's get that party started. Here you go. You like green or purple?
I'll take green.
Okay, there you go. This is for you.
Thank you.
Look, I'm so considerate. I got it decanted
Testing,
for you and
testing.
everything.
Testing.
Whoops.
Testing.
Yes. I lost my notes. Don't mind me. There we go. I've not been drinking yet.
Well,
Hello.
we're doing cheese today in honor of Bastille Day.
Which was actually yesterday, but we didn't want to throw off our Wednesday schedules, you know? Keep it going. That was just me teleporting into space for a second, no worries.
Don't leave me now.
Here's the plug. Behind.
Cover it or?
Nah. Hand me that black wire. That's why it's not working.
Oh, okay. I apparently unplugged it with my back. We got a microphone this week, but we're trying to get it working. Oh, we can start. See, this is why last time I just rushed in, ran my mouth super fast and left.
Lines. There's a bad glare.
Test.
Testing. Can you hear us
Yes,
now?
okay.
There we go. You can hear us, and there's not a horrible feedback loop, so we're
Yes,
getting
yes.
somewhere.
Okay.
Progress.
Volume is very low.
For all of you already logged on out there, do any of you have a favorite cheese? I'm just curious. I have a favorite cheese, but it is extremely obscure. Good luck finding it anywhere.
We do have a question.
We have a question already.
Someone would like to know what the best wine is with salmon.
Best wine with salmon. I would personally go in a more citrusy direction. A nice Sauvignon Blanc or something. Because I like citrus with my salmon. That's my personal
I don't like
opinion.
salmon, so I'm not one of those.
I don't think anyone else here eats fish besides me, so.
Thank you for answering.
What time is it? We got everyone on yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Dawn, do you speak French?
Ooh la la. That's it.
That was magical. I love it. I
My
do not speak
grandfather
French.
is from France. He was from Alsace, France.
Ooh, I've seen pictures of there,
Yes.
and I want to go eventually.
His name was Jacques Chaujon, but in Jersey City he was just Jack Chaujon. So.
Jackie boy.
Yes.
All right. So, thank you for joining us for our second installment of our cheese tour around the world. Today I've got Dawn with me. You may have heard that already. And we're doing our Taste of France board because yesterday was Bastille Day. So, we have quite a few of you with the boards out there today, and we actually have the wine and beer as well. So I'm going to use Dawn as my test subject, and she's going to have to eat everything.
Yeah. Lucky me.
So this is our French board over here. And so now we can spin it around so Dawn can actually get to it, like so. There you go. And that's going to be great. So first up, we actually have the Pierre Robert, which is a delightful triple cream. Everybody loves a triple cream. you may, it is, okay, what makes the Pierre Robert different from your run-of-the-mill brie is that it is actually cave-aged for a longer period of time than most brie, so it is so soft. It's almost like creme fraiche in the middle, and you get a little bit of that sour cream tang to it as well. And that one, of course, everybody says put champagne with bries, but actually, for those of you who got the Viognier, it is a great accompaniment, and it has enough body to stand up to the stout as well. So it's a nice versatile brie, and
Both amazing.
Dawn's thoroughly enjoying it, clearly. You should try it with a little bit of, this is a champagne confit, and that's the La Parisienne. Your little French spreads you got over there. So, still louder? I'm doing my best to talk loud today, guys. So, that Viognier that we have is the Australian Hermit Crab Viognier. It's sweet and silky. I don't actually have any for Dawn to try today, unfortunately. Well, lucky for you guys, you bought all of it. So you might notice aromas of melon or licorice. Has a nice medium body with a balanced fruit and acidity profile there. Now, definitely we have to start with the Pierre Robert because once we move into the other two cheeses, you won't be able to taste it again. So enjoy your Pierre while we're here.
Oh, I wish you all had some of this strawberry, no, it's raspberry?
Well, it's called Parisienne, and so it's a melange
Berries.
of French fruits.
Oh,
But
the
it's very
cheese
nice.
is amazing.
I'm glad you like it.
I'm gonna try it with the jelly, the champagne jelly.
Okay. Can you all hear me okay? We're trying out a new microphone speaker setup, but we're trying to get it loud enough without being so loud that it makes that horrible howling sound. Okay, moving on then. So you might notice me holding this wonderful cantaloupe, cannonball looking thing here. It is not a cannonball or a cantaloupe, it is cheese. You'll recognize it as that lovely bright orange cheese in your pits. And this is the Mimolette, which is, it's got a really hilarious backstory that dates back to the 17th century and King Louis XIV of France. He was jealous of people importing cheeses from Belgium and Holland, and he banned the import of Edam cheese, which the French folks continued to smuggle into the country until they got in trouble for it.
Nobody can hear me.
Nobody can hear me? How about now? Is it louder now? Testing.
Is your phone on?
Just talking into the mic itself.
Okay. We're learning as we go here. Alright.
Want me to hold it for you?
Yeah, we can hold it together. This is why we have friends now. So basically, Edam cheese, if you've seen it, it's a big round ball. It's usually dipped in wax. So they decided to make their own version of Edam cheese, and they call it Mimolette. They flattened it slightly on the top and bottom so it will actually stand up on its own, and made it orange on the inside. So when it was on anybody's table for food, it was clearly the legal cheese and not the contraband cheese. These are actually, this particular one is cave aged for at least 12 months. And it makes a great beginner cheese because it does have a very smooth, velvety kind of a texture and kind of that savory taste. So anyone who's intimidated by foreign cheeses, fancy cheeses, it's a great starter. And it's also a great snack with fruits and beer. But you'll also notice in our tasting kit that we recommended the Alinera. And you might say, Kristen, why did you pair a Italian wine with a French cheese? Well, that is because Mimolette is so bold in its flavor that it needs something more similar to an Amarone to stand up to it, which in this case, the Alinera does the trick just fine, which, Dawn, you have some there. What do you
Yes, I
think?
will taste that.
I'll take this from you. so you
When
can
people
enjoy your
come into
snacks.
the store, they ask for the cantaloupe cheese. So we just call it the cantaloupe cheese.
Yes, it does really look like a cantaloupe. You could probably trick somebody with it. April Fools!
How do they get the holes in the rind?
The holes in the rind. Of course you would ask that question, Peter. So, they're our little friends, our tiny affiniors. It's in a cave. And our lovely little tiny affiniors, the cheese mites, put the little holes in, but don't worry, it's completely safe and is part of the delightful texture and flavor.
Yummy.
That is always the worst question to ask the cheese expert, is where these holes come from.
The mites.
Just enjoy it. Don't ask too many questions, okay? And it's actually way heavier than it looks. One of these little balls usually weighs like 5 pounds or so for just the tiny ball. What do you think
It's
of the
hard to
mimolette?
cut, right?
It is extremely hard to cut. It's hard as a rock when it's cold. You have to let it sit out like overnight. And then because it is a round sphere, there is no good edge to get your knife in on, and it just sort of rolls away all the time. So this one I pre-split. It took me probably 10 minutes to break into it yesterday. So
I had a question for Patty. She said she couldn't hear that well, but she'd like to know about the rind one more time.
Oh, so Peter back here asked me where the tiny holes in the rind of the mimolette come from, and it is one of the more uncomfortable topics of cheese knowledge, but we call them our tiny affiniors, our little cheese buddies, also known as cheese mites, but they're not living in your cheese. You're not eating bugs right now. It's all taken care of. Don't worry, but they are part of the natural development of the rind and the cave aging process.
They help with the aging.
Yes.
And the aeration they create gives it those deeper flavors.
Yes. Yeah. So they, put nice little holes in the rind so the air gets in, so the flavor develops. It's a whole process. Just a lot of people get really uncomfortable when you start talking about them.
No.
So we put the mimolette, again, it actually does go with the stout. We got super lucky this week, and all 3 cheeses go really well with the imperial stout, for those of you out there who got it. But we also paired it with the Alinera, which, as I said, is an Italian wine. Dawn's a fan. She has a little bit over here.
Yes, I love it.
So it's like a baby Amarone. So you might even describe it as seductive.
Crystalline wants to know if she missed the brie.
Yes, the brie happened, but we can circle back to the brie, the Pierre Robert, triple cream, utterly decadent. It's velvety smooth. Dawn, I thought, was going to eat the whole thing in front of us.
I was, but I realized I started my diet 2 days ago, so I didn't.
Yeah, triple creams are not diet friendly. It is a minimum of 75% butter fat. And this one's unique because it is cave aged longer than most bries and has that wonderful kind of a creme fraiche sort of tang to it.
How come I never got this before?
That one we have is a pre-order.
Okay.
It takes a while to come in when I order it, so
Okay.
it sells as fast as we get it in.
This, it is amazing. That's like breakfast right there.
Oh, right. And you're enjoying your wine with the mimolette?
Very good. How about champagne with this wine? Would this pair with champagne?
Champagne will go great with the Pierre Robert.
Mm-hmm.
Brie and bubbly is always.
Something.
The mimolette could be a little bit harsh and salty for it.
Okay.
But the Roquefort, when we get there, it will go with bubbles. It likes a sweet dessert wine as well.
Okay.
But today we just have it with the stout. So the Alinera, like we said, is a baby Amarone. And so you still get those wonderful fruity, cherry, prunes, spice, full body with that elegant velvety finish.
Did you pair this Alinera with the folks who bought the kit? Did they also
Yes.
get that? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
So you
cheers.
could opt into the Alinera. So cheers as well. And some people had just the white. Some people got all of them.
Let's go.
Yes, it's a great little accompaniment there. And then the last cheese in your kit, last but not least, the one that packs the biggest punch, and probably one of the more recognizable names out there in the cheese world, is the Roquefort. Which, if you're a blue cheese fan, you're gonna love it. What do we got? Skip the brie, we got the English Stilton. Don't worry. Coming down the pipes, we do have in the future a UK board that will have the Stilton on it, but we'll get there.
Oh my goodness. I'm not a fan of blue cheese. This is amazing.
Right? The Roquefort is such a creamy, like, supple. The sheep's milk, it is made with sheep's milk, so that's where you get that extra richness. Sheep's milk tends to be higher in fat, so it's real rich, creamy with that kind of tang on it. Roquefort is known for being one of the most largest blue pockets in the paste of the cheese there, so it's very distinctive in smell as well. Yes. You will be able to recognize it. Yes. But pungent in a good way. So this particular one that we all have today is made by Papillon, and it is aged a minimum of 4 months, again in the caves. So all 3 cheeses today are cave aged, which is a really unique process compared to, you know, being aged in a facility or in a barn or in wherever else you might put your cheese. Caves just give it like a whole nother layer of flavor and complexity. If you could put like a plain Emmentaler and a cave-aged Emmentaler side by side, and it's going to blow your mind how different they taste. So the Roquefort would be characterized, it's a little bit salty, but it's got that creamy texture that balances it out with the...
And what makes it the blue? Is that like all this? What is this?
That is, they blend Penicillium roqueforti, if you want to get real particular with it, into the milk before they make the cheese. Okay. And then they start setting the wheel, and then you'll see, like, here you got that nice little straight line in it. So after a certain amount of time, they take needles and they poke holes in the cheese, and it lets oxygen in, so then the blue will start to grow. But as you can see, that's very soft and creamy. It makes a great spread. It makes a great sauce to put on things. Or just,
I would like that. Is it like a pasta or something?
That's pungent.
Pungent?
Very
yes,
pungent.
it is. But, like, not in a bad way. Not like a gross pungent. It's just distinctively pungent. Yes. Yeah. Great mixed into things, tossed in a salad, spread on a sandwich. Dawn's just eating it on crackers. Yeah, we got some pears out here for you to try it with, because it does. People don't think about putting blue cheese with sweet things. You usually put it like on a burger or a salad or whatever, but you know, blue cheese and honey, blue cheese with pears, grapes, they're all great little...
With honey would be good.
Yeah, I didn't give you any honey today, unfortunately.
Okay.
You got enough to keep you occupied there?
I'm happy.
Okay, so with the Roquefort, we actually had paired this lovely, the Dark Age by Wicked Weed. It is an imperial stout, and it is bourbon barrel aged, so it adds a whole nother layer of flavor to it. Yeah, and the best thing about barrel-aged imperial stouts and stuff like that, they're like a fine wine. They get better with age. So unlike your IPA or your whatever other beer you like to have around, that, you know, you get a couple of months out of it, this one, it just keeps getting better.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep, they actually, Wicked Weed's located in North Carolina, and they actually put local honey and brown sugar in when they're brewing it, so you get like that little chocolatey and sweetness to it. It's complex and bold, and then it's barrel aged, so you get that like oaky softness to it as well that kind of balances it all out. I know you're not much of a beer drinker, so I didn't open it up for you.
But I've actually been to Wicked Weed.
Ooh, have you?
Yes, it's wonderful.
I was in Charlotte a few months ago, but I didn't make it over to Asheville and stuff where all of these places are. But I've had some of their others, and they are very nice. So this one got its name Dark Age for the Dark Ages because they wanted to bring back that mystery of the magic.
I love the the label.
Merlin and King Arthur,
Very
you know. It's a cool label.
It is.
And we got Alinera with the blackbirds on it, which is, I think, what Alinera literally means.
Well, there was a story about the Alinera with the three
tell me.
birds. I don't remember it, but
Oh. I got excited for a
I
second.
remember them telling us at.
Oh, here we go.
Italian
On the
restaurant.
back, swallows give new life to the sky over our vineyards in the heart of the region after the cold winter months. So I guess that's where the nice swallows and spring has come with the swallows on the bottle.
Do
so.
you remember the story about the three birds? No. Oh,
Something
well.
significant about the birds, and none of us
Yeah.
remember it.
Oh, well.
Tobacco, oak, coffee, cherry, red fruit, cranberries.
Yep.
Fairly bold, but like a lot of Italian wines, it's on the dry side.
It's a nice
But
balance.
It goes well with just about every Italian food.
What is the price point on the Alinera?
That one is about $14, so it's a great buy,
Very good.
especially when it's comparable to an Amarone, which is usually $40+
Right.
for an Amarone. So
That's good.
I actually super love it with like pasta and stuff, but it's great with this cheese too.
Yeah,
So
went really well with the cheese.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Did you try any of our little other treats on there
Well,
for you today?
Is this the rosemary ham?
That is the rosemary ham.
Oh my gosh, I was just talking to my tennis partner this morning about this ham, how delicious it was.
Yes.
Oh
The
my
full
goodness.
French board has the 3 cheeses you have in your kit, plus some sliced up pears, a couple of jams, the Rosette de Lyon, which is the dry salami from the Lyon region, and the rosemary ham with some figs,
You
apricots,
guys.
cornichons.
This is amazing.
I stuck the rosemary in it so I'd remember what it is. Oh yes. Today we're starting a new thing with our bi-weekly events where every time we are partnering with local nonprofits. So today is Community Cooperative, which maybe you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Community Cooperative is off of Palm Beach Boulevard, and they do amazing Martin Luther King, Boulevard. And a friend of ours, the Galloway family, started, I believe Tracy started this company.
I don't know if it started it, but
Yeah,
she's
well, they
in
feed-
charge right now.
They feed the homeless, they feed all the people who are in need, so they're a very beautiful company, so we're very proud to partner with them.
They do a soup kitchen, they do mobile food events they did one this morning, if I'm not mistaken, where they have a van that goes to different locations and they'll feed people that can't make it to them. And it's just a very noble, fantastic organization that everybody should try to support.
Yes, they do amazing work.
So the proceeds from tonight's event are going to them, and so every 2 weeks when we do these, it'll be another local nonprofit that we'll partner with, and same setup. It's gonna be really nice.
Foundation.
Next week, it will be in 2 weeks,
Yep.
for the Italian board, which is next week.
July
We're
29th.
working
is-
with the Heights Foundation.
Yes.
In Fort Myers.
So, and the Heights Foundation, they help with kids going back to school and stuff like that,
Yes,
right?
and they also, we'll talk about that more, but they are also looking for donations for back to school supplies.
But anybody is free to drop off any dry food donations that you have. We would be happy to receive it and forward it to the Community Cooperative Foundation.
Yep, so we kind of have a mini food drive going on here. So canned goods, shelf-stable
School
items.
supplies.
We'll make sure they get where they're going and everybody gets what they need,
Yes.
which will be great. So did we have any more questions? Did anybody want to go more into detail about any of the wines or cheeses?
Somebody asked about the Alinera, I think.
She didn't ask. Cindy said they've been drinking the Alinera. She loved all 3 cheeses, and her husband tried a stout to go with it.
Nice.
The Roquefort was the best that she's ever tried.
Yeah,
me too.
That Papillon Black Label is just next level. Like Papillon makes like 4 different versions of Roquefort, and the Black Label's kind of like the creme de la creme to bring out some That's like the only French thing I know.
All right, we do have a couple questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. How does the taste of sheep milk compare to that of cow milk?
Oh, so cow milk, you're all familiar with it. That's like the most common thing to make cheese out of. Sheep's milk does have a higher fat content, so it's really rich and creamy, and then it's got this distinctive sort of tanginess on the finish that you'll start to recognize. We have several sheep milk cheeses, Manchego, Osso Arati, Lamb Chopper, so you'll notice those, but Roquefort is kind of next level when it comes to that.
Yes. Great, thank you. Our next question, interesting. How do they get the blue to grow in the cheeses?
Oh, I think we kind of started going over that, and that's the actually where Roquefort and stuff would get its name, Penicillium roqueforti. So it's in the same family as penicillin, but it's not the penicillin.
Our next question.
Penicillin, what are we eating?
Are there specific regions of France where these cheeses come from?
Actually, yes. I don't have all of them. I know that Mimolette is usually from kind of the Flanders area.
Lille.
Yeah, Lille or Flanders region. And then there is actually an area that's like, I can't pronounce it. It's something Roquefort. And that's where Roquefort cheese comes from, which is actually, it has a little seal where Roquefort cheese, to be having the name Roquefort, has to be made in a certain way, in a certain area to be certified. You can't call anything Roquefort. It's only sheep's milk cheese from France in this region made in this way. Which
Sounds
is
a lot like wines when you talk about the terrain and terroir.
Roquefort sur Sauzon. Okay. My French is atrocious, and I apologize if I offend anybody with it.
Fantastic. Thank you for answering that. Our next question is, what does cave aging do to the taste of a cheese?
So caves are their own like micro environment. If anybody's taken a cave tour in Tennessee or Arizona, wherever there's caves, there's like, it's a different temperature. It stays a stable temperature year round, so it's actually really great for aging things in cellars and stuff like that as well. So with their own little microclimate, all those distinct things in the air, the smell, the terroir, so to speak, and it just adds layers of complexity and flavor that really stand out from your other types of aging.
Thank you. We've been talking about cave aging. Are there other aging processes?
Yeah, some cheeses are barely aged at all. Like, you can make mozzarella and eat it the same day, or some bries are very, very young. They're only aged for a couple of months or even a few weeks. A lot of them are put on mats on wood shelves in various facilities. Some places have like Rape-and-Nair Gouda that we sell. They have a facility right on a river, so they can open and close these wooden doors to let different amounts of heat and humidity in throughout the aging process. So it's all very elaborate and unique to every cheese.
Patty would like to know if all of these cheeses today were sheep's milk.
No, only the Roquefort is sheep's milk. The Pierre Robert and the Mimolette are cow.
Fantastic, thank you. And talking about all the different cheeses, there was the triple cream, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Are there doubles or quadruple creams that you can buy? What is that process?
So, basically, regular milk is about 3.5% cream or so. So to make a double cream, they add straight cream or butterfat to it to make it about 40 to 60% cream content. A triple cream is a minimum of 75% cream content. I've never heard of a quad creme. That is probably just straight butter at that point.
Yeah, I would think.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Might be good to try. Our next question, talking about regions, when we talked about that, do each region have their own way of making cheeses?
Yeah, there are distinctive regional cheeses. Like, I mentioned also Arati earlier, or the Mimolette here. They're very specific to the area they come from. And a lot of times, like in the case of Manchego, it has to be made in the La Mancha region from those specific sheep and stuff. So they are very localized and regional.
And when we discussed blue cheese earlier, does that mean that any cheese could be turned into a blue cheese?
Not necessarily. It wouldn't really work out the same way if you just, I don't know, rubbed the penicillin all over the outside of a block of cheddar. It will grow blue on the outside, but it's not going to turn creamy and have the pocket caves of blue in it. But
depends on the native culture or the rennet that they use also.
Yeah, so they're all distinct. It all has to do with like the rennet, the type of milk, the other different culturing enzymes they might add to things, plus the actual penicillium itself. So, but that does bring up another good point. We mentioned it last time. Your brie and your blue, keep them packaged up and don't let them get all over your other cheeses. Otherwise, the white skin of the brie or the blue will start to grow over the surface of your other cheeses, and while interesting, is not ideal.
They take on the flavors and the smells.
Yeah. It gets weird. I mean, it's cool to see, I guess, when you have like, oh, surprise, this is now a brie.
Do you recommend that all these cheeses be served at room temperature?
I definitely prefer cheese. Its flavors come out, the texture is different. Like, the Roquefort is way more pasty and solid when it's ice cold, so it gets this creaminess when it's warmer. And I definitely would not want to eat Mimolette straight out of the fridge. It would just be, it's really chewy.
Is that
first
like
of
a
all.
golden rule for all cheeses, though?
Yeah, most cheeses, let them warm up for about 20 minutes at least before you eat them, unless it's like, I don't know, like a cream cheese dip or something.
Okay.
We have a new question about what was your thinking behind the selection? Why did you choose these specific cheeses for this board?
They're just a little bit more unique. They stand out. Roquefort, of course, classic French. And you need a brie, but there's brie everywhere. Everyone loves brie. So Pierre Robert is distinct. It's different. It stands out. And then, I mean, it doesn't get much more distinctive than a literal cantaloupe of cheese. So we just wanted to really give you like a taste of the more unique things where you may not find, you know, in other shops.
I know that you mentioned before, I'm pretty sure that Louis XIV is the one that preferred that cheese to be distinctive, so he knew it was a French cheese.
Yeah.
But did you know how it was colored originally?
It is usually colored with annatto seeds.
Now, but originally it was colored with carrot juice.
Oh, okay.
Fun fact of the day.
Yes.
I did not see that in my research. Carrot juice. I mean, that would make it orange.
Yeah.
We do have a question talking about going back to the bries everyone seems to be loving.
Everybody loves brie.
Obviously. With a triple cream brie, what makes it a triple cream? You said the fourth cream would probably just make it a butter.
Right.
So what is the creams that go into the, like, what makes a triple cream?
Well, I mean, you know how you can take the cream off the top of unhomogenized milk. You have your heavy cream to make whipped. It's all the cream top off the milk. So they just take more cream and add it to the milk until it gets to that 60-75% content, and that's where you get that really luscious, rich flavor from, and is why we all love brie so much.
And we were discussing about the room temperature, the serving cheeses. Should all cheeses, any cheeses, be stored in a refrigerator or left out?
Definitely put them in the fridge, especially around here. It's like, 100 degrees outside with like 100% humidity, I swear. So it will wreck your cheese.
Would you say there is a better...
Depends on the texture. Hard cheeses versus soft cheeses.
Well, yeah, Mimolette is much more shelf-stable. Things like Parm Reggiano, they can sit out for quite some time, even a few days. But your brie, do not
No.
leave that sitting out around here.
And is there a recommended way that you would say to store it? Would you use a plastic, like a Ziploc bag, saran wrap, a
Yeah,
container?
you don't want them exposed to the air, but you don't want them suffocated because the blue is living, the rind on the brie is living, and they will get suffocated if you wrap them too tightly.
Yeah.
So there is things like cheese paper, or putting them on like a wood tray and wrapping over it, or my lovely assistant here is we do have these bees wrap as well, which are cotton cloths dipped in layers of beeswax, and they're perfect for sealing up cheese.
It's reusable.
Yep, they're reusable, so you buy it once. I actually have quite a few at home. They're actually super great also at keeping avocados fresh when you only
Yes.
eat half at a time.
Yes, I even put my lemons and limes in
Yep.
them.
I wrap everything up in these. I hardly ever buy plastic wrap anymore. I just
Yeah.
put it over the top of a bowl, whatever. And then we have the storage paper. If you like wrapping your cheese like a little gift. I mean, it looks
It
good.
looks beautiful.
But the reason that paper works better is because it's a double layer, and the second layer is perforated, and cheese is a living, breathing thing, and that helps the cheese not suffocate. It helps it continue
Breathe.
to age.
Yep. Yeah, you don't want it to get smushed and smothered.
Yes.
Someone would like to know how you would wrap the cheese to store it in the refrigerator. Do we have anything open where you could show a demonstration, or can you give an example of, should it be a tight wrap, like maybe there on the mimolette?
I was gonna say, it works on the mimolette because it's hard as a rock. So you can wrap it tight, you can put it in a Ziploc bag, wrap it up in plastic wrap, it's gonna be okay. But
So can we see the...
this actually has some tight wrapped
Yeah.
cling film over it to help it.
So it's better to wrap it tight.
Yeah, if it's a hard cheese, wrap it tight. If it's your softer cheeses, you're gonna want to protect them from getting smushed, but you also don't want to seal them up so tightly they suffocate. So you could use like a little container, you know, a little Tupperware, and put it in there and then wrap over it so it's enclosed in its environment but not getting crushed in your refrigerator.
And Kristen, what does the aging process affect? We did talk about that earlier. Does that...
Oh, the more aged a cheese is, usually affects, in the case of bries and stuff, they'll get softer and softer. It's the same with blue cheese. They get like softer and runnier usually as they ripen from the outside in. But in hard cheeses like mimolette, cheddar, Gouda, they'll tend to get harder, and they go through a phase where they get sharper tasting. Goudas especially, they'll get sharper and sharper, and then they start to mellow out, and they'll get nutty and almost butterscotch or peanut buttery in flavor, and get more of like a fudgy caramel texture in your
Nice.
mouth.
Someone's looking for local cheese, Florida, Georgia, or Tennessee. Do you have any favorites that are local domestics?
We do have some cheeses here from Georgia, actually. Don't have any Florida cheese. We do sometimes have like fresh mozzarella and stuff that's made in Pompano, but we don't have any right
But
now.
we can always order it if anybody
Yeah.
likes. Burrata.
And it's delicious.
So good.
The stracciatella. So we do have Sweetgrass Dairy, which is in Thomasville, Georgia. And if you tuned in for the Americana board last week, the Sweetgrass Griffin was featured on there. And they also have the Thomasville Tome, which is
Yeah.
delightful. And sometimes we get lucky and we get a shipment of their little Green Hill Camemberts in. But they're hard to get because everybody loves it and it's super popular. And it's a tiny little boutique cheese producer in Georgia. So,
Yeah, definitely hard to get.
and I have had a blue cheese from Tennessee, but again, it's one of those where they're a really tiny co-op of cheesemakers, and you know, we get it when we can, but it's kind of a lottery out there to
Yes.
get those nice cheeses.
And those domestic cheeses talked about on the Americana board, can you still order those?
Oh yeah, we have all of those cheeses. You can still get the Americana board. You can get the Toma, the Griffin, the VAT 17, everything that was on there. We have in
They're
stock.
on our new boards.
Yep,
correct?
they're on the Americana board. So you'll be able to get those all the time, and they're great.
Yes.
So let's see. Was there anything you wanted to go back to, Dawn? I know we've kind of covered the basics of everything here, but
I have never, I don't know why I missed this one. I've tried all the others, but this just, wow, it blew me away. It was
Yeah, that
so
one,
good.
that one's on our top shelf over there. It's the La Parisienne.
Oh,
It's got the little Eiffel
how
Tower
did
on
I
the front,
miss
and
that?
it's.
And
I decided to put it on the French board.
You have
but
to have it, you guys. You have to try it. It's amazing.
It sounded delightful when I read the
Yeah.
jar, and I was like, this has to be with
Oh
the.
my god, that is so amazing. Mm.
Do you like the rosette?
Yes, I love the rosette. I
It
do.
is one of my favorite of our salamis,
Yeah.
actually. The rosette and that other new French one, the the garlic one from France, and it's delicious because I love garlic.
And
Oh my
looking
God.
at the board, what is on those cornichons?
Oh, those are the only thing on here that's not really French, but they're delicious and they look pretty. Those are Peruvian sweetie drop peppers, and they are not spicy. They are a delightful, like, sweet and tangy little explosion in your mouth, so they just really go nice with those cornichons. Board for you. We got more rosemary ham coming in this week.
That rosemary.
If Dawn doesn't eat all of it.
With our rolls
What
and
sizes?
the mustard.
Yeah, we can do the French board and everything from a small, which is kind of like a 1 to 2 person size, up to a party size for 6 to 8 people. So it just depends on what you're looking for, but I can put one of these together for you, no problem.
Fantastic. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in yet, so
Okay.
we can wait a couple minutes, see if there's anybody that has any last lingering questions before we finish anything out.
So I'm here all the time. You can always ask me delightful cheese questions. I love to talk about cheese, obviously.
And one more time, we'd like to remind everybody about the community cooperative and what a great organization it is. And we'd love to have you bring in your food donations. We'll be happy to collect it and bring the donations out to the cooperative. They do a great job feeding people.
Yeah, don't
And
forget.
it's a wonderful organization.
And Kristen, one more time, the little dish that Dawn had, that jam,
Right.
can you explain that name one more time? And is it a jam? Is it a...
Yeah, it's like a jam or fruit preserve. It's called La Parisienne.
Trust me, you want it, guys.
And it's
oh,
it is a
my
lot
God.
of different mixed fruits that I can't remember all of them. Ooh, we're grabbing
It's
a
three-
jar
I
of
think
it.
it's 3 different berries, I want to say.
Yeah, quite a few, and they are delicious. Here, I can show you. This is the jar. So it is from
I
France.
don't have my glasses on. Oh,
So it is strawberry and cherry with poppy and lemon juice in it. So it's actually very simple. It's strawberry cherry, which is nice.
Everything from that company is amazing. I have
There we
not
go.
had that one.
Getting a zoom shot.
Oh.
And Kristen, you did say that you went to Charlotte a couple months ago. Someone's asking if there's any good cheese places in North Carolina they should check out. They're about to go on a vacation. Do you have any places
Oh,
you recommend?
There was that market in Charlotte, like the 7th Street Market, and there's a little cheese counter with like the most delightful little cheesemonger, and I got some delicious local cheese up there called Chocolate Lab, I believe. It stank up my car, but it was delicious. Worth it. But that's a local cheese only in that area. I can't get it here, so I had to enjoy it while I could.
And you said that was Charlotte?
Yeah, in Charlotte. Any more questions? Nobody had a favorite cheese to chime in with? That's fine.
Yeah, there's a few.
Oh,
We
okay.
had quite a few people loving the brie, the
Okay.
Roqueforts, the pairings. Everything was delicious. We're just making sure we get every question in.
Yep. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Again, Kristen is here every day that the store is open. You
Yep.
can always get a custom board from Kristen. She can answer any of your questions. You can call her up. She can put together a board
I'll
for
talk
you.
your ear off. Whatever.
So never feel afraid to have cheese questions.
Definitely. I like when people ask questions.
And we want to
because-
thank everybody for participating. Thank you so very much. It's a very good cause, and we hope you enjoyed.
Yep, we had a great turnout this week. So don't forget, in 2 weeks, on the 29th, is going to be our next event. So we'll get those ticket slots up in the next couple of days.
Yes.
So, but in the meantime, don't forget, bring in your canned goods for the community cooperative. And then in 2 weeks, when we do the Italian board, it's school supplies for the Heights Foundation. And proceeds go to our local charities, which is a great thing.
Yes. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us again. I'll see you in 2 weeks.